School lockdowns are already terrifying in themselves, but what happens when something goes wrong? Not because of an active shooter or a safety drill gone sideways, but because of something unexplainable. These are the top 3 scariest school lockdown stories, and I will be reacting to them today, reading them for the first time. Hello, my name is Grace. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you're new. I talk about all sorts of spooky, freaky, scary things. And this is my beautiful, lovely, wonderful cat Casper, who just clawed my tit, so we're gonna put him down. But sometimes he likes to make an appearance in the videos, so I always like to include him. Without further ado, let's get into it. These are the top 3 scariest school lockdown stories. Story number 1 is titled The Last Bell. It started during 6th period. The intercom crackled. Then the principal's voice came on, almost too calm. Attention students and faculty. We are now going into lockdown. This is not a drill. Please follow standard procedure. My classroom went silent. Mrs. Kinney locked the door, turned off the lights, and told us to move to the corner by the windows. 30 sophomores crouched down, the air thick with that mix of anxiety and deodorant. 10 minutes passed, then 20. Still silent. A girl in the back whispered, "Maybe it's just a precaution." Another student checked their phone. No alerts, no news. Just a weird emergency text from the school that read, in all caps, "Do not make a sound. It can hear." Now what is it? Let's keep reading. People thought it was a joke until we heard footsteps. Not just any footsteps. Bare feet. Slapping slowly against the linoleum hallways. Linoleum? I hope I said that right. Sorry. The footsteps paused right outside of the door. Someone whimpered. Mrs. Kinney mouthed shh and pointed towards the floor, her feet pale. The doorknob jiggled. Then a whisper came through the crack. "I saw you in the window. Why did you move?" No one answered. We barely breathed. The voice changed. It sounded like someone we knew. It said my name. Oh my God! And it's my name! That's crazy. "Grace, you dropped your phone outside. Come get it." I didn't drop my phone. It was in my hand. The screen showed a message that sent chills through my body. "Do not listen. It mimics." More footsteps, more voices. It copied every teacher we've ever had, every student, every parent, over and over again, like a skipping record. It whispered and knocked and called out, "Let me in! I'm hurt! Please just open the door!" At one point it laughed, not like a person, like something trying to sound like one. Then, silence. An hour passed, then 2. The lockdown ended abruptly. The lights flickered on, and the principal's voice came back through the intercom. "Thank you for your cooperation. All clear." Do you like my principal? We waited. Mrs. Kinney did not move. "I didn't hear an all clear code," she whispered. "Did any of you?" We all shook our heads. Oh, because I guess in these lockdown situations, there's like a code word in case someone like forces the principal to say all clear. That's crazy. Then came a knock. "Mrs. Kinney, it's Officer Daniels. It's safe now. Please open the door." She looked through the small window, then recoiled. "That's not him," she mouthed, because Officer Daniels had lost his left eye in a car accident last year. And the man at the door had too. We stayed inside until the real police came, and the real all-clear code came hours later. Then we found every other classroom empty. Doors wide open, no signs of struggle, no bodies. Just the smell of bleach and something else. No one ever found out what it was, but the emergency alert is still on my phone. It won't delete. And sometimes, late at night, I get a new one. "Are you still hiding?" Okay, that's the first one. That's creepy as hell. Well, I don't like that one bit. That was a mimic if I ever saw one. Let's move on to the next story. And make sure you comment whichever one freaks you out the most. This next story is titled, "Our Teacher Locked Us In, but There Was No Lockdown." And this story came from a Reddit thread years ago, but it's been confirmed that several students were actually there. It happened in a small town in Oregon back in the 2010s, and the school won't talk about it publicly. But here's what allegedly happened. A group of students were in class with a substitute teacher. She was older, probably in her 60s, and no one had seen her before. According to the students, she acted weird from the moment she walked in. She kept forgetting names, snapping at kids for things they weren't doing, and seemed jumpy. And she was afraid someone was watching her. Then, halfway through the class period, she suddenly locked the classroom door and told us to turn off all the lights. She said to get away from the windows and to stay low. Naturally, the students asked if it was a drill. She didn't answer. She just repeated, "Do not speak. Do not make a sound. They are watching." Everybody thought she was trying to scare them as some sort of twisted lesson plan. But when one student laughed, she screamed, "You're gonna get us killed!" Now people were genuinely scared. Some people thought that she was having a breakdown. Other people thought that there actually might have been an intruder, but no one heard a lockdown announcement. One student tried to pull out their phone and she took it. She said no one was allowed to contact them. The class was locked in that room for over an hour and a half. Eventually, one of the students managed to text their parents from inside their backpack. 10 minutes later, the real principal and a school officer arrived. When they got the door open, they found the substitute crying in the corner, rocking back and forth and mumbling about the voices in the ceiling and how they were coming through the lights. She was taken out by the paramedics, and later it was confirmed that she had recently gone off her medication and had a severe dissociative disorder. The school had hired her through an emergency substitute service without fully vetting her records. She hadn't hurt anyone physically, but multiple kids said that the experience changed them. One student developed panic attacks, another had transferred to a different school, but this was the most unsettling part. One student swears that before the teacher was taken away, she looked straight at him and whispered, "You can't stop them. They're already here." Imagine being locked in the room. And I really wonder what she was referring to. Was she schizophrenic? I don't know too much about dissociative disorder. But imagine being locked inside that room with the person in charge going crazy. And you have no warning, you have no way out, you don't know what is real, and then you just have to continue on with your day like nothing ever happened. Now, our final story actually doesn't have a title, but it came from a student who claimed that this happened to them in their high school back in 2014. No one has ever been able to fully explain the incident. It was a normal afternoon. Class was about to end when the intercom buzzed. Everyone froze, because what came through was not the usual tone. It was the lockdown message, but glitched. The principal's voice was slow, distorted, and looping. "Attention all staff and students." I'm trying, okay? I'm trying to make it fun for you. We're in a lockdown. I guess I could have used an audio effect. I could do this in post. Oh well. "This is not a drill. Attention all staff and students. We're in a lockdown." Over and over and over again, slurred and drawn out like a record stuck on repeat. At first, everyone thought it was a tech issue, but the teacher took it seriously and followed protocol. Lights off, door closed, everyone quiet. Then 5 minutes passed. 10. 20. And the message never stopped. No police show up, no follow-up instructions, just the same warped sentence on a loop. And here's where it gets strange. Students started saying that the voice wasn't just repeating, but it was changing. It was getting slower, quieter, saying things differently, like, "This is not a dream," and "They are inside," and "Do not move. They can hear you breathing." Some kids swore that they heard their own names being whispered into the static. One student broke down crying, saying that she felt like something was behind the door, but there were no footsteps, there was no banging, it was just that looping voice. And then finally, after 40 minutes of this nonsense, the announcement cut off. Mid-sentence, there was silence. When the class finally opened the door, the halls were empty. They walked into the main office to ask what happened, and here's what the secretary said. "What lockdown? The secretary swore that no lockdown had occurred. There was no alarm. No one else in the school heard anything. The other classrooms were completely normal. Classes had continued on like nothing happened, and just the students in that class weren't attending. And when the students tried to show the teacher the videos that they recorded on their phone, it was gone. It was just blank screens. One of the videos had 43 minutes of static audio, but no waveform. Like it had never recorded anything actually real. And to this day, nobody knows what actually happened. And the weirdest detail? The same teacher transferred schools 2 weeks later and refuses to acknowledge it or talk about it. I think the first one scares me the most. The mimic stuff, you know I love like talking about like skinwalkers and mimics and the paranormal, and I feel like all of these are pretty paranormal and like unexplainable. It's fun to like blame it on the paranormal, you know? Or they're just made up, who knows? But let me know which one spooked you out the most, and give this video a like if you enjoyed my stories. I'm happy to share more. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Stay spooky.